boys and girls. Welcome to Richmond County Literacy Network's Storytime. My name is Sharon, and my dog Kipper, who's usually with me, had to stay home today. There are too many activities that I have to do, and he would want more attention. Hopefully he will join us again soon. I hope you will enjoy today's story, and maybe you would like to invite someone to watch it with you. Okay, are you comfy? All right, let's roll.
Hi, I'm Laurie MacNeil. I'm a local family doctor here in Arishat and also a grandfather. And I'm here today to read this story, Love You Forever, by Robert Munsch. It's a story that I read to my grandson on a regular basis to help him relax and go to sleep at night. So, a mother held her new baby and very slowly rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. Well, that baby grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 2 years old. And he ran all around the house. He pulled all the books off the shelves. He pulled all the food out of the refrigerator. And he took his mother's watch and he flushed it down the toilet. Sometimes his mother would say, this kid is driving me crazy. But at nighttime, when that 2-year-old was quiet, she opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. And if he was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. Well, that little boy grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 9 years old. And he never wanted to come in for dinner, and he never wanted to take a bath. And when Grandma visited, he always said bad words. Sometimes his mother wanted to sell him to the zoo. But at nighttime, when he was asleep, the mother quietly opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. If he was really asleep, she picked up that 9-year-old boy and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. Well, that boy grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was a teenager. He had strange friends, and he wore strange clothes, and he listened to strange music. Sometimes the mother felt like she was in a zoo. But at nighttime, when that teenager was asleep, The mother opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. If that great big boy was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, "I love you forever. I like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." Well, that teenager grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was a grown-up man. He left home and got a house across town. But sometimes on dark nights, the mother got into her car and drove across town. And if all the lights in her son's house were out, she opened up his bedroom window, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. If that great big man was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, "I love you forever. I like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." Well, that mother, she got older. She got older and older and older. One day she called up her son and said, "You better come see me because I'm very old and sick." So her son came to see her. When he came in the door, she tried to sing the song, "I love you forever. I like you for always." But she couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. So the son went to his mother. He picked her up and rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he sang this song, "I love you forever. I like you for always. As long as I'm living, my mommy you'll be." When the son came home that night, he stood for a very long time on the top of the stairs. And then he went into the room where his very new baby daughter was sleeping. He picked her up in his arms and very gently rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while he rocked her, he sang, "I love you forever. I like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." And that was "Love You Forever" by Robert Munsch.
Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back. It's Sharon, and we're going to do another craft. This craft is called a Handprint Penguin. This is what it will look like when it's all done. Okay? So you need black paper, construction paper, or you can color white paper if you don't have black, and you have crayons, you can color it. You'll need a white center, yellow or orange for the beak, and goggle eyes. Okay? Now my hand is quite big, so I have a big circle, but when you do it with your hand, you should use a smaller circle. Okay? All right, so I traced my hand on black paper and I cut it out just to save time. But at home, you may need help to trace your hand. Okay, so once you get your hand traced, you turn it upside down. You put the hand handprint center on. I think my hand is big. I should use the bigger one. Okay, so we're going to glue that on. All right. There. And then we're going to put on some Google eyes. Okay. Whoops. Okay, we have his Google eyes on. And we're going to make a little beak. The first one I made it on orange. And then I was looking at pictures of penguins and it looked like it was more yellow. So you just take a piece of paper, colored paper, or color it, white paper and color it, small, fold it in two, and cut from the folded side into the open side like this, okay? At an angle. So you're going to end up with a triangle beak. There. All right. Okay, so there's our little beak. I'm going to glue one side of it. Right below his eyes. We're going to put his beak right below his eyes. There. Then the next step is to take or get someone to help you to write a message to the person you want to give the penguin to. On mine, I like penguins and I liked watching Happy Dance. So I wrote on mine, "You make me happy, just like this little guy." So you can write whatever you want to the person you're going to give it to. And that's our penguin craft. Okay? So try this one at home and have some fun. And I'm sure the person you give it to will be very, very happy. Okay, bye for now.
Hello, my name is Brandon Boudreau, and I am the phys ed teacher at a Cobo Port in Airshad, and today I'm going to have the great pleasure of reading Lobster Fishing on the Sea with you guys. One Saturday morning, Susan went lobster fishing. It was still dark when her dad woke her up. "Breakfast time," he said. "We have to get up early to catch lobsters." "Maybe we'll catch a blue lobster," said Susan. "Maybe," said her dad. "Most lobsters are dark green and orange, but they can be other colors too. They can be black, brown, white, red, or blue." Susan and her dad ate a good breakfast. Then Susan put on warm clothes because mornings are cold out on the ocean, even in June. She also put on rubber boots. It's very wet on a lobster boat, and Susan did not want to get cold, wet feet. Susan and her dad drove to the wharf. Dad started the engine, and Susan untied the lines from the wharf. Dad coiled the bow line at the front of the boat. He coiled the stern line at the back of the boat. Susan climbed down the ladder and got on board. She put on her life jacket. "Safety first," said Dad. They sailed out to the fishing grounds. There were many, many buoys floating on the sea. "Each fisher paints his buoys different colors," said Dad. "The red and yellow ones are ours." Susan hooked a red and yellow buoy with a gaff. "Good catch," said her dad. A gaff is a long pole with a hook on the end. Susan used it to rescue a bucket she dropped overboard. "Why are there so many seagulls out here?" said Susan. "They're hoping you'll drop some bait overboard," said her dad, instead of an empty bucket. Susan's dad pulled the first trawl into the boat. A trawl is made up of traps tied to a long rope. The traps sit on the sea bottom with bait inside to catch lobsters. A buoy is tied to each end of the rope, and the buoys float on top of the water. There were 7 lobsters in the first trawl. Susan and her dad put them in the lobster tank. When all the traps were empty, Susan and her dad put bait bags full of raw herring in each one. Then Dad pushed the traps back into the water one by one as Susan slowly steered the boat in a straight line. Then they picked up another trawl. In it, Susan found 4 lobsters and 2 rock crabs. "There are hundreds of different kinds of crabs," said her dad. "The pea crab is a small pea. The Japanese spider crab is as big as a rowboat." "There are just ordinary crabs," said Susan. "They aren't really made of rocks." "No," said her dad, "but they like to hide in the rocks on the sea bottom." Susan put the rock crabs in the crab tank. The third trawl, Susan found more lobsters, more rock crabs, and 3 purple starfish. "We should make a sign," said Susan. "No starfish allowed." "Starfish can't read," said Dad. "They have eye spots at the end of each arm that they can only see dark and light." Susan put her fingers over the eye spots. "Peekaboo," she said. She put the starfish back in the sea. In the fourth trawl, she found a sculpin. The little fish had a big head covered with sharp spines. "If he were bigger, he'd be very scary," said Susan. "Be careful," said Dad. "He might be small, but those spines can sting you, like a bee." Susan put the sculpin back in the sea, very carefully. She didn't get stung. In the fifth trawl, 2 hermit crabs were hiding under a bait bag. Hermit crabs live in empty shells they find on the sea bottom. The hermit crabs were very shy. They made their claws into shell doors and hid behind them. "They have beautiful blue eyes," said Susan as she put the hermit crabs back into the sea. Susan found more and more lobsters and more other creatures. There were rock eels and a lumpfish. The rock eels were so wiggly that they tied themselves in knots. Then they wiggled themselves out of the knots. Susan put the rock eels back in the sea. They were so wiggly that she had to use 2 hands to pick them up. The lumpfish was bright pink. "Watch," said Dad. He stuck the lumpfish onto the cabin door, and it stayed there. "How did you do that?" asked Susan. "Lumpfish have suckers on their bellies so they can stick themselves to rocks on the sea bottom," said Dad. Susan wanted to take the lumpfish home because he was so pretty, but she didn't. "I don't think he likes it there," said Susan. She put the lumpfish back in the sea. After a long morning of work, it was finally time for lunch. Dad turned off the engine and Susan got out the lunchbox. They sat on the engine box in the sunshine. They had peanut butter sandwiches and chocolate chip cookies and blueberry juice. "This is much better than raw herring," said Susan. "Not to a lobster," said Dad. Finally, all the trawls had been hauled, baited, and put back in the sea. Susan and her dad sailed back to the wharf with their fish tanks full of lobsters and crabs. They sold their catch to a fish buyer. Fish buyers sell lobsters and crabs to restaurants and grocery stores. Dad kept 1 bucket of lobsters to take home. That evening, Susan and her dad had lobster chowder for supper. It was delicious. "But we didn't catch a blue lobster," said Susan. "No, we caught a pink lumpfish instead," said Dad. "Maybe next time." "Yes," said Susan. "You never know what you might find at the bottom of the sea." The end. Thank you very much.
Good morning, friends. I am Miss Kate from Puppets at Hand, and today I am going to be reading you a story. Now, the story I picked out is one that I love and a friend of mine also loves, and he's going to be coming in a minute. So it's called Sleeping Dragons All Around, and it is by Sherry Fitch, and the pictures were done by Michelle Neidenoff. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I am going to put the book on this book stand so that I don't have to hold it. And I am going to get my friend to come join me. He's napping down here. Puff. And he's got his lovely blankie. Puff, come on.
Oh, is it time?
Yes, it is time. Oh. And you have brought your blankie that you love to be in here. Put your arms out when you're reading a story.
Yes, I did.
So, Puff, would you like to say good morning to our friends out there?
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Now, Puff, you told me that you wanted to come today because this is one of your favorite stories.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it's all about dragons.
That's true. All right. Well, let's start.
Okay.
Can you see the pictures?
Yep.
All right. So, it says, shh, shh, there are sleeping dragons all around.
Yeah.
And so I must tiptoe, tiptoe softly as I pass. When there are sleeping dragons all around, I must be quiet. I must not make a sound. The dragons are asleep. But I'm awake. I have got to go downstairs for some.
Mocha maple chocolate cake.
Yeah, I think that's the other reason you like the book, Puff.
Yeah.
Shh, shh, tiptoe, tiptoe, here I go.
Oh, boy.
Over there on a quilt of saffron and silk lies Priscilla.
Yeah.
In pink pantaloons, Priscilla prefers marabou furs. Her earrings are blue balloons. Priscilla's the queen of the movie star scene. Asleep, she appears most gentle.
Yeah.
But I've heard it said that when not in bed, she's extremely temperamental.
Yeah, I think so.
So I must tiptoe, tiptoe softly as I pass. Fagin the dragon's a hideous sight. His scales are gold and they glitter at night.
Oh, boy.
He has spiked his hair and dyed it green.
I like green.
I know. He shrank his shirt in the washing machine. What is most bizarre is the silver star that Fagin wears through his nose.
I think that would hurt.
Maybe. Fagin smells like onions and sleeps here when it snows. And so, plug my nose.
Yeah.
Here it goes. I must tiptoe, tiptoe, softly as I pass.
Oh, boy.
In our tub sleeps Beelzebub.
In a tub?
I know. Surrounded by suds and soap, with a snorkel on her snout, she breathes through a periscope. Beelzebub blows blue bubbles as she dreams away her troubles. Sometimes she leaves puddles on the bathroom floor.
Oh,
You don't do that, do you, Puff?
no.
If Beelzebub got out of her tub, I'd get wet, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
So I must tiptoe, tiptoe, softly as I pass.
I wonder who she's going to meet next.
I don't know. Glump is simply a dimplish, bimpish, balloon bellies, a slumpish lump, a wimp of a dragon.
Oh, that's kind of like me.
That's okay. With his tail zigzagging around the room, his chin dragging along the floor, with hiccups like no one's heard before. The whole floor shakes, but Glump never wakes, I hope.
Yeah.
So I must tiptoe, tiptoe softly as I pass. Over there by the stair sleeps the dragon Pythagoras, a dragon of deadly precision. His obsession is mathematics. He's unusually adept at division.
Oh, I like math.
Good, Puff. The dragon Pythagoras counts in his sleep. I strongly suspect that he tabulates sheep. The dragon Pythagoras drutters away until night has melted into day.
Numbers, numbers, infinitesimal. I love numbers, especially decimals. I don't know what decimals are.
You will when you get older, Puff.
Okay.
And so, when with a 1 and a 2 and a 3, I must tiptoe, tiptoe, softly as I pass. Ching Chong hangs upside down in his majestical ancestral pure silk gown, crimson amethyst, silver and gold. He's 1,002.5 years old.
Oh, I'm not even that old.
No. Ching Chong sings of dragonish things. Where is the butter in a butterfly's wings? Through his ancient nose, the fire he breathes might burn my toes. I wish I'd brought the garden hose.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
So I tiptoe fast past Ching Chong.
Yeah, because he might blow fire.
Yes. There in his lair, in a rocking chair, sleeps old Jebediah Jones. His skin sags like the garbage bags, brittle are his bones. Jebediah has 3 long whiskers sprouting from his snout. Occasionally he uses tweezers and tries to pluck them out.
Ouch.
He smells a bit like medicine that's gone a little stale. He daily swallows vitamins and drinks golden ginger ale.
I like ginger ale.
So do I. Even though his stomach droops, one can always hear, even though his stomach droops, as if he's wrapped in hula hoops, one can always hear him hum some ancient dragon hymn each and every night when Jebediah comes in. So,
Yeah?
I must tiptoe, tiptoe softly as I pass. Stretched out flat on my trampoline is that muscular dragon, Ms. Lindy Lean. She teaches aerobics at the YDCA. She works out with weights at least 4 times a day.
Wow.
Her sneakers are gargantuan.
What does that mean?
Gargantuan means really, really big.
Oh,
So, her sneakers are gargantuan. So is her jogging suit. She maintains a health food diet of salad and yogurt and fruit. Do you like that?
no.
Ms. Lindy Lean is incredibly keen. Her muscles are mountains, it seems. I think she's even doing push-ups in her dreams. So I must,
Tiptoe.
yes, tiptoe softly as I pass.
Is she ever going to get to her cake?
Well, we'll have to see. Shh, shh. I've just about made it, even with the dragons everywhere. Oh no,
What?
I stubbed my toe.
Oh, no.
Yes. I said, ow, ow, ow.
Well, she should be quiet.
And now the sleeping dragons are awake. Thundering, blundering, closer and closer. Oh no.
What?
They're growling and grumbling. They're crunching and munching my mocha.
Maple chocolate cake?
Yes.
Oh, no.
You bold and brutish, bursten-bellied beasts. You brash bunch of bedraggled dragons.
She sounds mad.
I think she is. You gobblers, you thieves, I place my fingers on each snout. command them with my loudest shout. Dragons dread, go back to bed.
Yeah.
I blink, they shrink, then slink away.
Oh, so it worked.
It did work, didn't it? Tiptoe, tiptoe, off they go, with their heads hanging low, dragon teardrops in their eyes. And so I yell, surprise, surprise!
What surprise?
You have to wait and see. Since you dragons are awake, I'll give you each one piece of my mocha,
Maple chocolate cake. That's a great idea.
isn't it? The cake is delightful, dragon delicious. We dance in the kitchen, we don't do the dishes.
Yeah.
Then we all tiptoe, tiptoe, softly back to bed. There now. Did you like that story, Puff?
Yeah, I really did.
What did you like best about it?
The chocolate mocha maple cake.
And what did you learn from that?
Well, it's not nice to take somebody's cake.
No, it isn't. But she did a very nice thing, didn't she?
Yeah,
What did she do?
she shared it with them.
That's right. Well, that's the end of our story. So we're going to say goodbye.
Bye-bye. I hope I come back again.
I hope you do too, Puff. All right. Friends, I hope you enjoyed that story. And I think Puff's probably ready for another nap in his warm blankie. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed today's story. I hope you enjoyed being with us. And until next time, bye-bye.